Good day. Welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. The death toll from the collapse of a building belonging to Rainers Bible Church International in Akwa Ibom State has reportedly risen to 100. Although there seems to be conflicting reports on the actual death toll, eyewitnesses have put the death toll at 100 or even higher. State police put the death toll at 27 persons with 30 injured. The church was filled to capacity following the consecration of the pastor of the church as a bishop when the incident occurred. Governor of the state Udom Emmanuel and other top dignitaries were also in the church but managed to escape unhurt. Meanwhile, the governor of the state has ordered the immediate arrest of the contractors that constructed the collapsed building on Saturday. The governor's call comes on the heels of a similar call made by the Senate President of Nigeria, Bukola Saraki, for a probe of the disaster. President Muhammad Buhari has commiserated with the victims of the incident. The president, in a statement, also commended the government of the state for the handling of the situation so far. He implored the people of the state especially to provide support for the victims of the tragedy. Nigeria's President Muhammad Buhari has denied dropping the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olunisaki, and the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas, as service chiefs. In a statement issued on Monday, Minister of Defense Mansour Muhammad Danali said there was no such communication between the office of the Honorable Minister of Defense and the service chief directing any of them to hand over his office and proceed on retirement. The service chiefs were appointed in July last year. At least 3 persons were killed when 2 female suicide bombers attacked a market in the northeastern Nigerian city of Maiduguri in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. According to the National Emergency Management Agency, 18 others were injured in the attack, while 1 person died from his injuries. The incident was the second bombing incident in Nigeria's northeast within the past 3 days. Boko Haram terrorists were blamed for the attack on the edge of the group Sambisa Forest stronghold, which Nigeria's military has been bombing ahead of ground assaults. Since the military dislodged the extremists from towns and villages this year, the insurgents have been attacking soft targets in the region. Now, following the latest bomb blast, the Borno state government has called for an emergency meeting with the management of all markets within the Maiduguri metropolis. Governor Kashim Shettima, who visited the scene of the bomb blast, summoned officials of all markets, motor parks and other places of public gatherings in Maiduguri for an emergency meeting with heads and security agencies and the Civilian Joint Task Force. The meeting is expected to take place on Monday at the Government House in Borno State. The candidate of the All Progressives Congress for Rivers Southeast Senatorial District election, Magnus Abe, has again returned as winner. Abe becomes the first senator-elect in the Rivers State rerun polls held on Saturday. He was declared winner by INEC's returning officer on Sunday evening following the end of the election. He polled a total of 125,938 votes to defeat Olaka Nwogu of the People's Democratic Party, who gathered a total of 25,394 votes. Abe was first elected to Senate in 2011. In the 2015 general elections, he had lost a return bid to Nwogu before the poll, like others in Rivers State, was cancelled by the courts requiring Saturday's rerun polls. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has demanded that the INEC release outstanding results in the Rivers West and East senatorial districts, claiming the candidates of his People's Democratic Party have won in the 2 areas. He says the results from the Rivers East and West showed that PDP had won in the 2 senatorial districts, and asked INEC to announce the remaining results untampered with and declare his party candidates winners. According to him, there is a plot to inflate results of the 2 local government areas to return his party's lead. The Nigerian Army says it has rescued 16 abducted corps members and some policemen who were ambushed in the Rivers State senatorial election on Saturday. Kasimu Abdukarim, who is the General Officer Commanding of the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army in Port Harcourt, also denied the allegation that his men were partisan in the election. Governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, and other bigwigs in the PDP had accused security operatives of collaborating with the All Progressives Congress to rig the election. President Muhammad Buhari says the 2017 appropriation bill which he will present to the joint session of the National Assembly this week, will take Nigeria out of recession. Buhari made this comment in his Eid al-Maulud message to Nigerians. He also urged Nigerians not to allow the reality of the temporary challenges to undermine their hope or reverse the collective will to succeed. The president also urged Nigerians to use this celebration as a time to reflect on the nation's current economic challenges. The Code of Conduct Tribunal has pledged to invite Nigeria's Army Chief Tukur Buratai for questioning as it verifies his asset declaration to determine whether or not he is culpable of false asset declaration. The Army Chief was immersed in asset declaration scandal after evidence emerged that he owned some properties in Dubai. The Nigerian Army in June this year admitted that the chief owned property in Dubai but said they were legal and he declared them in his asset declaration form. Now, despite the Army's admission, the CCB says it is investigating the claims. The Nigerian government has restated its commitment to the fight against corruption and other crimes in the country. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Kayode Fayemi, made this known at an event for the 2016 United Nations International Anti-Corruption Day. He says the government has put in place several means to tackle corruption in the country.
For us to succeed in this fight, we must make transparency and accountability our way of doing business. As a nation, we must enshrine the following into our public service culture, practices, and procedures. 1, effective implementation of the laws holistically and across board without fear or favor, and there must be no sacred cows, and the culture of impunity must be completely eradicated. We must tackle corruption from the roots. Investigating and prosecuting corruption is expensive and time-consuming. It is far cheaper and more impactful to prevent corruption and close the doors to illicit activities before it happens. Proactive efforts must therefore be sustained to make corruption risk assessments and implementing remediation and integrity plans a culture within our MDAs. We must develop ethical codes and procedures which must be deployed and enforced. This will ensure service delivery, increase public confidence, and get our citizens involved in the fight against corruption.
Corruption not in my country.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
But that's how we roll.
Because then let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
Mbano. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
But it is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
I get that.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make not really add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. You're watching TV360 News now. Police authorities in Nigeria's capital city have urged the public to report all cases of misconduct against any police officer found wanting. According to the police, this will make it mandatory for officers to be accountable to the public they serve.
What you are witnessing today is part of the renewed effort of the FCT Police Command to bring the police close to members of the public. We promise you we are going to close the gap in our relationship. The PCRRU platform is an initiative that will provide FCT residents with a seamless opportunity to reach the police especially when they are dissatisfied with the action of any police personnel. Suffice it to say that PCRRU is an opportunity for us to publicly declare our commitment as police officers to discharge our statutory responsibility and other duties based on international core values of policing with integrity and zero tolerance for corruption, and also ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions.
The United Nations Industrial Development Organization says Nigeria can reduce the burden of the current economic state by developing small-scale businesses and the industrial sector. The body held a 3-day workshop on enterprise development and investment promotion program in Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria. Our correspondent, Abiola Ismail, has the report.
In a population of about 170 million people, Nigerian youths post about 2/3 of the population, out of which less than 1/3 is gainfully employed. This, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, put the country on the edge of an increased unemployment trend. Now that the recession has hit all sectors, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization says Nigeria should begin to develop national statistics in all the states of the Federation to ascertain the actual size of workable youths in the country. Here, at the end of a 3-day workshop for Train the Trainers, Hashim Sulaiman Hussein, head UNIDO ITPO, says the problem with Nigeria economy is not the financing, but the access to funds through a workable business master plan is lacking among the youths.
We have realized that there are so many activities but not well coordinated. There is no one umbrella, how entrepreneurs can resort to, from an idea to development of a business plan, technology tie-up, and then they go to the finance, or what we call access to finance. This is one of the bottlenecks in Nigeria, and this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to develop one umbrella for all the partners and all the stakeholders which are dealing with micro and small business and entrepreneurs to be working and coordinating together for the sake of the entrepreneur.
The head of UNIDO Investment and Technology Development Office in Nigeria, Olumodimo Adebisi, says the trainers are expected to transfer the acquired knowledge to millions of Nigerians who are seeking to start up a small-scale businesses.
We are trying to come up with a core of trainers that will help to train our SMEs members. And we have high rate of mortality for our enterprises. And we discover that many of them don't have the required skill and knowledge how to run a business. So that is what we are doing.
UNIDO says Nigeria was picked as the pilot country to kick off the Enterprise Development and Investment Promotion Program under its Investment and Technology Promotion ITP in West Africa. Abiola Ismail, TV360 Lagos.
The head of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, has gone on trial in France over a massive state payout to a flamboyant tycoon who she was finance minister to in a case that could tarnish her stellar career. Lagarde denies the charges of negligence, arguing that she was acting in the state's interest in making the payment to Bernard Tapie, the former owner of the sportswear giant Adidas and the Olympic Marseille Football Club. If found guilty, Lagarde could receive a 1-year prison sentence and a €15,000 fine. Oil rose by as much as 6.5% on Monday to an 18-month high after OPEC and some of its rivals reached their first deal since 2001. Brent crude futures were up to $56.72 per barrel, while U.S. crude futures were up to $53.96 per barrel. Over the weekend, producers from outside OPEC, led by Russia, agreed to reduce output by 558,000 barrels per day, short of the target of 600,000 barrels per day, but still the largest contribution by non-OPEC ever recorded. Gambia's President Yahya Jammeh says he will challenge the results of the December election at the Supreme Court of the country. Celebrations erupted across the tiny West African nation last week when Jammeh unexpectedly conceded defeat after the Elections Commission announced the victory of opposition candidate Adama Barrow. However, in a dramatic about-face that drew international condemnation, the former coup leader says that serious and unacceptable abnormalities trailed that election. He has now called for fresh polls to be conducted in the country. The deadline for submitting a challenge to the court is Tuesday. Super Falcons coach Florence Omagbemi and Nigerian international Kelechi Iheanacho have made the final shortlist for the 2016 Confederation of African Football Awards. Top scorer at the just concluded African Women's Cup of Nations, Asisat Oshoala, was also included on the list. Others who also received nominations are Super Eagles duo Alex Iwobi and Ogene Karo Etebo, as well as Nigeria's under-23 team. Omagbemi, who recently led the Falcons to their 8th AFCON title in Cameroon, was nominated in the coach category, while Oshoala was nominated in the Women's Player of the Year award. Etebo and Iheanacho were also shortlisted in the Promising Talents category. The winner of the 2016 Ballon d'Or award is expected to be announced on Monday, December 12, 2016. The final rankings will be unveiled from 4:30 p.m. Nigerian time and the winner announced by 7 p.m. Nigerian time. However, the winner will not receive the prize until Monday, January 9, 2017. The winner of the award, which was separated from the FIFA Award Player of the Year in 2016, was selected by votes from a select band of journalists. German champions Bayern Munich have been paired with English side Arsenal in the Champions League for the 4th season in a row. The two sides, who met in the group stages last season, were paired again in the second round of the 2016-2017 season. Meanwhile, French champions Paris Saint-Germain were also paired with Spanish champions Barcelona for the 3rd time in 4 years, while English champions Leicester City will face Europa League winners Sevilla. Defending champions Real Madrid will play Napoli, while Manchester City have been handed a tricky tie against Monaco. That's all we have at this time. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.